Senator Braun.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, agriculture has gotten so complicated. Didn't grow up on a farm, but have lived on one ever since I moved back to my hometown. Fell in love with the forestry side of agriculture. In Indiana, we were probably 90% forested at one time, and got through subsistence farming cut down to like 5%. It's kind of reforested to the tune of about maybe 30, 35%. And value added, it's equal to, if not exceeds, the value add that you get from row crops. I think that's something that most people don't understand. They see the vast fields of corn and soybeans. So I think it's important to keep that in mind, to keep our forest owners healthy, and to make sure that that's as important a part of the equation as the row crop side is. Since that's simple, the trees just grow and get larger, don't involve any inputs, and it's kind of a generational crop. What I hear most about currently is two things. It would be the concentration of ag when it comes to industries across the input spectrum that used to have so many local options, fewer and fewer companies. I think that is something that we got to be aware of. The individual farmer has had to go from small acres to many acres to keep economy of scale in place. Frustrated each year that they've maybe got fewer options. I'd like your comment on, is that side of farming in peril because markets aren't as broad and available as they used to be? We recently discussed it in the Ag Committee on the meat packing industry. Would you want to weigh in on that?
Well, Senator, I think there are two issues here. One you've identified, which is the concentration, and that's absolutely true. We're dealing with fertilizer issues right now. That's a very concentrated industry at this point, the processing industry, and we're trying to address that with some of the work that we're doing at USDA. I think the second issue, and you also alluded to it, is the fact that there is a limited number of ways in which farmers today profit. They grow crops and sell them, or they grow crops and feed it to livestock and sell the products of livestock. What we need to do is be able to create additional ways in which profit centers and income sources can come from the farm. That's why your work, Senator Stabenow's work, and others on the climate smart agriculture effort was important, because it basically creates the platform and the structure for that possibility that climate and climate-related activities could create a revenue stream, an opportunity. The conversion of agricultural waste to chemicals, materials, fabrics, and fibers also creates another new revenue stream that we are in the process of trying to support. So I think the key here is for us to address the concentration issue, but also to address creating multiple income streams on the farm.
I think that's very important. Any business that prospers over time, I can tell you I ran one for 37 years, whatever you're knocking it out the park with currently is sure to be different 5 to 10 years down the road. And agriculture is a monoculture in terms of really what you have been used to doing. It's got to reflect what you're talking about. The other real concern I hear, which is palpable, was what farmers are going to do in 2023. Let's put the cost aside. That was a big challenge this year. Most ended up getting the inputs they needed to get a crop out. With the current dynamic in place, with our dependency on certain inputs that look like they're in places of peril, do you think farmers will be able to get the inputs for 2023, setting the cost aside? I hear real concern about they just limp through 2022. What are we going to do for 2023?
Well, one of the things that we're looking at is whether or not there's a possibility of taking a look at our storage programs, because there may very well be the capacity to purchase and store, which farmers could potentially utilize to get them through a potentially tough 2023 crop year. Then secondly, obviously, we work on strategies to try to reduce the amount of these inputs. That takes us into precision agriculture. I'll just share with you, there's sensor technology that's being developed at Iowa State University that suggests that 30% of the corn acres in America today, in the Midwest, do not require fertilizer. So if we can accelerate that kind of research and accelerate the capacity of farmers to have that kind of precise information about their farms, we may be able to get them through a process, maybe not 2023, but in the future, where they're not as reliant as they have been on those inputs.
Leveraging technology and finding new markets would be the hallmark of any successful sector of our economy, and never more applicable than in agriculture today. Thank you.